Hello and welcome to another edition of Let's Fix It with Dan Jiles. Today's project is to replace a straight, boring shower curtain rod with a nice, modern style of a rod that just happens to be curved. This is a one-piece rod, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to install it. And I think it's going to really look nice. So let's get started. This particular rod is held in with some brackets, and there's two Phillips head screws that are holding it in place. So I'm going to remove the brackets on both sides of this rod, and it's actually going to leave us some holes in the wall, but we're going to take care of that. So we'll go ahead and take these brackets off now. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now that the screws are removed, we can go ahead and take the shower rod down. And there's some wall anchors in the way of where that rod was sitting. So we're going to have to remove those and then fill this in and clean it up, make it look like it was never there to start with. So we'll go ahead and take care of that now. All right. What I want to do before we fill in these holes is I want to measure up from the tiles to the center of where that original shower rod was to get a measurement on how high I want to set the new rod, the curved rod. It has special brackets that we're going to have to use, and we want to make sure that that rod is actually in the same place that the old rod was in. So I'm going to measure from the top of the tile, which is right here on this edge, to the center of where the old rod was. And that's going to give me 3 inches height. Now, you don't want to mount your new rod in the identical spot because it actually makes it stick out too far when that curved items or the curved part of the rod would be way too far out. So you actually want to come in about 4 inches, 4.5 inches. From previous jobs that I've done, I've realized that from the corner of the tub out 28 inches is an ideal situation and position for the new rod. So I'll go ahead and mark out where the new brackets are going to go, and we'll get those installed. All right, this is going to be the new bracket that we're going to install. And as you can see, it's considerably less than what the round pieces that held the original rod in, but we're going to be using some wall anchors on this to secure it to the wall, so it's really not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to take this apart and go ahead and mark our positions. All right, we got our brackets up on both sides, and we'll go ahead and get the protective covering off of the new shower rod. And I didn't tighten up the brackets. I left them loose so that they can move back and forth, because we're going to slide this in on one side and then match it up to the other side, kind of get them centered in that bracket. And then there's little set screws on the bottom. I'll show you those in a minute that we're going to tighten up, and that'll tighten the rod up to the brackets. So kind of center the rod between the brackets, and then got a little Allen wrench, and the little set screws are on the bottom of the brackets, and I'll tighten those up. All right, I'll do the other side. All right, so there you go. The installation of a curved shower rod. No hassle, no fuss. It's actually pretty simple. Take your time, you know, get the right measurements, have the right tools. Once you get started, you shouldn't have any problems. I'm going to give you an annotation, or I'm going to make a note coming up next of where I get this part, and also the part number, so that if you want to get yourself one, you can do that. These are a continued shower rod. I've seen a lot of them out there that are two-piece, that they come a little short piece, and you know, you can extend them out to make it curved. You know, that's nice, but you've got a piece of metal that's going inside of another metal. You've got a spot there, you know, when you slide your shower curtain back and forth, it might get hung up. I like the solid rods. They're really nice. They're a lot nicer than having a two-piece rod. So anyway, this is Dan Jiles with Let's Fix It. I hope this is going to encourage you to get out there and do it yourself. I'll see you soon.